What if I told you that your government may have secretly exposed you to chemicals without your knowledge, without your consent? Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But it's not. This is real. Hidden experiments disguised as scientific research or national security measures have been carried out in plain sight. In this video, we will delve deep into the disturbing truth behind these incidents. We'll explore documented cases, the motivations behind them, the devastating effects they have caused, and the ethical dilemmas they have ignited. Buckle up, because the truth is more shocking than fiction. During the Cold War, which spanned the mid-20th century, fears of chemical and biological warfare surged. The geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union created an atmosphere thick with paranoia and an urgent desire for scientific and military supremacy. To investigate the effects of chemical and biological agents, governments worldwide initiated secret testing programs designed to replicate potential conflict scenarios. Their goal? To understand how these agents would spread in various environments, how long they would linger, the risk of civilian exposure, and the health effects that could ensue. These covert operations were often justified as necessary preparations for potential attacks. Officials claimed that understanding the dispersion of chemical and biological agents was crucial for devising effective defense strategies. This included developing early detection systems, decontamination processes, and medical countermeasures. However, the need for preparedness frequently overshadowed ethical considerations, leading to troubling moral dilemmas. Classified as top secret, these programs operated under the belief that keeping them hidden was essential for national security. Military and intelligence agencies acted with minimal public oversight, often lacking rigorous ethical review systems. Secrecy was not only meant to protect sensitive information from foreign adversaries, but also to prevent public scrutiny that could hinder these operations. Ethical concerns, such as informed consent and potential risks to civilian populations, were frequently disregarded in favor of what was deemed the greater good of national security. Moreover, the rapid advancements in scientific research during this era, particularly in microbiology, chemistry, and aerosol technology, provided both the motivation and the means for these studies. Governments were eager to harness these breakthroughs to bolster their defensive and offensive capabilities in the event of chemical or biological warfare. This mix of scientific ambition, military necessity, and Cold War anxiety fostered an environment ripe for covert operations that prioritized data collection over ethical responsibility. Now, let's examine some notable cases of chemical spraying that have left a lasting impact on public consciousness. Number 1. Operation Sea Spray, San Francisco, USA, 1950. The U.S. Navy released Serratia marquescens, a reddish bacterium, over San Francisco to study how biological agents would spread in an urban environment. This test resulted in a significant uptick in rare diseases, including a deadly urinary tract infection, raising serious ethical and health concerns. The operation involved releasing large quantities of the bacterium from offshore ships, allowing the wind to carry it over the city. Hundreds of thousands of residents were unknowingly exposed, leading to increased hospital admissions for respiratory and urinary tract infections. Number 2. Operation Large Area Coverage, 1957 to 1958, United States. The U.S. Army conducted extensive aerosol dispersal tests using zinc cadmium sulfide, a fluorescent tracer, in several American cities and rural areas. The aim was to mimic the dispersion patterns of biological and chemical weapons. Zinc cadmium sulfide was chosen for its ability to simulate the behavior of biological agents in the atmosphere. Tests were carried out across the Midwest, exposing millions of people. While long-term health studies yielded inconclusive results, public outrage erupted when the tests were revealed, especially given that cadmium compounds are known to be harmful. Number 3. Experiments at Porton Down in the UK. Between the 1940s and 1970s, the British government conducted a series of secret trials where they released chemical compounds and biological agents over populated areas to observe their behavior. Porton Down, a military research facility, was the epicenter of these operations, many of which involved unsuspecting civilian populations. Tests included the release of Bacillus globigerina, initially thought to be harmless, but later found to cause infections in individuals with weakened immune systems. These trials extended beyond the UK, impacting Australia, Canada, and other allied nations. While many of these tests used chemicals deemed harmless, the long-term health implications remain contentious. Concerns have been raised about potential links between exposure to substances like zinc cadmium sulfide and respiratory issues, cancer, and other chronic health problems. Cadmium is a known carcinogen, and even low-level exposure can lead to cumulative health effects. Furthermore, the urgency for data often resulted in environmental degradation and ecological disturbances being neglected. Contaminants settled into soil and water systems post-tests, posing long-term risks to both wildlife and human health. These government-led efforts have faced significant criticism regarding their ethical implications. Here are some of the main concerns. 1. Informed consent was not obtained. Populations were exposed without their knowledge or consent, which violates fundamental ethical norms. Many ethical studies and legal challenges have condemned this blatant disregard for individual autonomy and public health rights. 2nd, risk versus benefit. Potential risks to public health were often downplayed or outright ignored in favor of alleged national security benefits. Researchers frequently prioritize data collection over the safety and well-being of civilians, demonstrating a utilitarian approach that placed governmental interests above personal rights. 3. Accountability and transparency. For decades, governments kept information from the public, leaving affected individuals uninformed about health risks. Officials were slow to admit wrongdoing or to provide compensation to victims even when undeniable evidence surfaced. The public outcry in response to these revelations sparked legal battles and demands for stricter regulations. In the United States, fallout from such secret projects led to the enactment of tougher regulations governing human testing, such as the National Research Act of 1974, which established institutional review boards, IRBs. These regulatory bodies were created to ensure ethical standards in research, emphasizing informed consent and risk mitigation. Similar disclosures worldwide prompted changes in bioethics and human rights law. The exposure of unethical experiments reinforced the Declaration of Helsinki and spurred the formulation of both national and international standards for ethical research practices. The history of government-sponsored chemical spraying over cities serves as a sobering reminder of the ethical breaches that can arise in the name of scientific advancement and national security. These incidents underscore the critical importance of transparency, accountability, and adherence to ethical guidelines in all research involving human subjects. As we move forward, it's crucial to keep these lessons fresh in our minds to prevent a recurrence of similar violations against public trust. Recognizing past failures is not solely an act of blame. It serves as a vital step toward ensuring that human rights and public health are safeguarded for the future. If you're intrigued by this riveting exploration into history's hidden truths, we encourage you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you heard of other covert operations that shocked the world? Share your insights, and let's continue this critical conversation together.